Switch to Square and take charge of your business and your time. Switch to fast setup and even faster checkouts. Switch to making every sale, every way you want, and every way they want too. Switch to one system connecting every tool to every task, even as your business grows. Switch to taking control and taking more free time, whatever that means to you. Make the switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started.
At care.com, you can find all the help you need, which means you might also find a bit of relief. Crazy talk, right? Except it's not. Not anymore. Find all the care you need at care.com.
What's one change you would like to make?
Just like every other goal, start with one. 1 rep, 1 mile, 1 workout.
If you're going to make one move, eat more plants and less meat.
To improve the quality of your sleep, go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time.
This is a wonderful place to start.
What do you do with 72 hours, 18 holes, 4 friends, and 1 wedding? The absolute most. Pool time? Check. Tea time? Check. Loser buys drinks? Check. Tie a few knots? Check. For however you fit. Bonobos.
When we started Warby Parker, we just sold glasses, and only online. But people liked them. A lot. So we offered more things, like sunglasses and contacts. And then we thought, what if we sold eyewear online and in stores? So we did that. And now we have stores in neighborhoods all over. There you can chat with friendly opticians and get eye exams from top-notch doctors. Now, no matter where you go, we've got your eyes covered.
Life. It's time to take it back.
New season, new reasons to say yes.
Wow! Aaron Judge crushes one.
Get all the Yankees action on the Yes app. Download now.
Great first hour of the show. Let's not even be humble about it. It was that good. It was that good. Hour 2 is going to be even better. It's going to be that much better. Don, you know, you've been doing this for a while.
For a while, yes. For some time, even.
Yeah. It was a beautiful first hour.
What's more, a while or sometime?
I think a while should be longer.
It's been a while.
Well, is it just a while? Or
it's almost the exact same amount.
I've been doing this for some time or quite some time?
Quite some time is a lot of time.
No, quite some time means more than a while. But I feel like some time and a while are almost the same thing.
See, I don't feel that way. But, you know, I would defer to you if you're right. I just don't feel you are. Look, you know what? Let's bring in Buster Only.
Yeah. He's been doing this
It's been a while.
A while.
Now, Buster, do you feel that a while and sometime is the same?
Close, but I feel like sometime is longer.
Really?
I don't know why it feels that way. Yeah, it does to me. You know, I appreciate you pitching the question to me though, because that's right up my alley.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of pitching. Well, see, I told you this was going to be a great hour. So many important players in baseball getting hurt. And I'll just start off this way, Buster. I thought that Tony Clark, you know, the statement he released blaming it on the pitch clock was really odd. Now, I'm not saying that you just discount that. It should be looked at. But it seems like it's velocity that really is at fault for all these injuries. What are you hearing and what do you think?
Yeah, I thought his statement was completely disingenuous. And I also thought that it was just wrong. Parts of it, you know, when he came out and he said that, you know, there was unanimous, he used the word unanimous in that statement, opposition to the pitch clock. Well, you know, and I know, because we walk into clubhouses every day and you talk to players, that's simply not true. Like, I'm guessing like 80% of the players probably are in favor of the pitch clock. And when he cited the pitch clock only as a reason, as you know, for all this absolute wave of injuries we've seen in baseball, I mean, what, has he not been paying attention for the last 12, 15 years? And he knows that. Like, he knows there's so much information, and has been for years, about how the chase for velocity, might be a factor. How the fact that pitchers now are trying to spin the ball harder than ever on every single pitch. They have become drag racers, where it's just maximum velocity, maximum spin, and lately maximum blowouts. And there are also factors like, travel baseball and kids throwing more than ever. And, professionals, as Alex Wood wrote, the pitcher wrote today that now pitchers throw year-round in a way that they didn't when he first started. There were a lot of factors that went into it. And what's really bad about, Tony Clark's statement and MLB's response is that you really get a sense that at a time when they could really use, the sport could really use a great collaborative relationship between MLB and the Players Association, there is none. And they're not going to talk at a time when they really need to get together and try to solve this problem. And I think people believe there are some things you can do.
See, I'm with you. I think the pitching situation's a problem, but I think the bigger problem is that these two sides just do not get along, and the league cannot grow and move forward with these two guys complaining to each other. Garrett Cole described it as like a divorced couple, and nothing is ever accomplished. If MLB decided to just have a press conference that the sky's blue, Tony Clark would say, well, you know what, the cloud, it's actually white, and we're going to strike to prove it. Like, they, instead of looking at this issue and trying to figure it out, they just use it as a bargaining tool or a way to snipe at one another, and nothing ever gets accomplished. I know there's always a problem between the bosses and the union in all sports, but at some point, you got to collaborate if you want to grow your sport.
Don, completely agree with you, and it felt like both statements that were released were political, right? I mean, Tony Clark has been, under siege. We know we've been reading about the issues within the union, and this felt like a chance to go out there and try to rally the troops in a way, and it's like no one believes it. And we've seen, the words of Justin Verlander in the interview he did on Sunday, and Garrett Cole, and Alex Wood and Jamison Taillon. Like, the players know it's a really complicated, nuanced issue, and why do that with that issue as opposed to trying to build a bridge to the other side so you can have conversations about what can we do to make the situation better.
Now, one thing, Buster, and this is a two-pronged question. Number one, he's not going rogue, so there must be pitchers that do not like the pitch clock. He's speaking for them.
Well, and I'd say this, and I've had a lot of conversation with pitchers who believe that the pitch clock has contributed to whatever degree to these injuries. And that's something for Major League Baseball. It's important for them to listen to that. In the spring, I did a podcast a couple months ago where I had Zach Eflin of the Tampa Bay Rays and Rich Hill, oldest pitcher in baseball, Caleb Coslin, the pitching coach of the Phillies, and they talked about in some cases, I know Rich and Zach believe that it contributed to injuries. And what, the feedback I got from them and I've gotten from others, in clubhouses is, look, at least give us a timeout that the hitters have. Because there are moments to use the drag racer analogy where they begin to redline, they can feel themselves getting tired in a moment, and they could use a timeout. And maybe you do that 3 times a game. Maybe it's 1 an inning. Whatever the number is, they should do that. And I know Major League Baseball, they've talked about that internally. That's something that they should listen to and follow up with and implement as soon as they can. Like today, come out and basically say, look, starting today, we're giving our umpires instructions that we're going to give pitchers the chance to call a timeout. Because there are a lot of pitchers who believe that is a factor, to whatever degree.
All right, so that's a factor then, and this is the second part of the question. So that could help solve the pitch timer conundrum. But, Buster, people chase velocity because velocity gets paid and also gets people out. Yep. So how are you going to, unless you just completely change the sport, how are you going to de-emphasize velocity?
Yeah, the incentive to chase velocity is there for pitchers, it's there for teams, and I think, and Theo Epstein, before he left the commissioner's office, had begun to have conversations about in trying to reestablish the preeminence of starting pitchers, okay? And it would take some time. It's not something where you could change a rule today and suddenly everything would be better. But I think it would help baseball move toward conditions that might be safer for pitchers to work in. And that would be, to reduce this absolute parade of relief pitchers that we're seeing where everybody's coming in, following a starting pitcher who's been told, throw as hard as you can for as long as you can, and then we're going to bring in the relievers after you. Reduce the number of pitchers that you have available to each team, per game. And my own feeling is that if you were to tell managers, look, you're limited to 5 pitchers per game, with obvious exceptions for blowouts and for injuries, and that way there's some incentive. Hey, let's leave the starting pitcher in there. And starting pitchers, if you do that, then they're not going to be maxing out if you're trying to get them in the 6th or 7th inning. Max Scherzer told me an idea last year where it's called the double hook, where you tie the starting pitcher to the use of the designated hitter. So you basically say, look, manager's there with a choice. If he leaves the starting pitcher into the game of the 6th or 7th inning, that means more plate appearances with your DH. You have to build some incentives there. And from the union perspective, I think this would be really important to try to restore the preeminence of starting pitchers, to keep them in games longer. And, oh, by the way, there'd be a collateral impact because offensive numbers would go up, right? Which is what they've been trying to get to. If you have starting pitchers stay in the game 6 or 7 innings more routinely with fewer relievers involved, offensive numbers would go up, starting pitchers' value would go up, and because pitchers aren't redlining as much, then you maybe reduce some of the injuries.
Well, Buster, Don has said this for years, and he's right. All of us, we don't understand. I mean, we understand why Garrett Cole gets a lot of money, but guys that pitch 5 innings, why are these starters getting a lot of money? You're right. If they extended them and they became 7-inning pitchers, to me, they'd be worth more and they'd be paid more.
And they would go back to, and this is why a few years ago, an official with the union said, what's our biggest issue? And I don't know if he expected me to say revenue sharing or something like that, but I said, you got to restore the preeminence of starting pitchers for the reasons that we mentioned. And these guys for years have been the headliners in the sport. They've been the Hulk Hogans, The Rock, the start of Roger Clemens versus Pedro Martinez. Baseball is losing that. They need to put these guys back on a mountaintop. But what's happened is, because there's such groupthink in baseball, so many teams now are basically not even bothering to develop the good old-fashioned starting pitcher who goes 7 innings. They're basically just asking pitchers in the minor leagues, look, throw as hard as you can, spin the ball as hard as you can, throw your best pitch over and over and over, red line. And so it would take some time to go back the other way and to say, in 2027, we're going to go back to a situation where teams are only going to be allowed to use 5 pitchers in a game. Or let's say they reduce it per game. Each team is restricted to 10 to 12 pitchers on their roster. Something so that these outings for starting pitchers get longer. And I think that would help everybody for a lot of different ways. But they have to put the rule in place because teams are not incentivized to do that right now.
If things stay the way they are, would there be any appetite to change the win to 4 innings instead of 5?
Boy, yeah, I know, because it's kind of ridiculous now. Maybe that's how you do it, right? Maybe that's some of the incentive you build in for the union because, that's a stat now that has gone out the window. Justin Verlander, as he comes back with 257 wins, he's not only trying to become the last guy to get 300 wins, but we may never see another 200-game winner with the way this is going right now.
All right, so that's a problem. That's obviously a big deal. Now, we've had an interesting beginning of the season. You've got the Pirates playing well. You've got the Guardians playing well. The Yankees are 9-2. What's the biggest surprise there? And I think the Yankees could sustain, not 9-2, but they can sustain. Do you think that either the Pirates or the Guardians could sustain?
I think the Pirates can. They have time. Ben Cherington, the general manager, they've collected all these terrific young players. Brian Reynolds, they've actually invested in some of them, like we've seen with the Atlanta Braves, where they sign the players to, long-term deals when they're really young. And they've hit the timing right, so they're all getting better together in a weak National League Central. So I think they're here to stay. The Guardians, on the other hand, they just lost Shane Bieber for the year. We'll see if that has an impact. And they can't hit home runs in an era in which, teams live and die by the home run. It's going to be tough for Cleveland to, maintain an offense over the course of the year. And I do think the Yankees have some staying power. I think one of the challenges for them is going to be, obviously, the question of how much can they get out of Garrett Cole? Will he come back? If he comes back, how are they going to go out and add during the course of the year? This is one of the, the collateral impacts of all these pitching injuries, is that you're going to have so many contenders going after a very small pool of available pitchers like Jesus Luzardo of the Marlins. But I think their offense is here to stay. The additions of Soto and Verdugo, to me, were absolutely perfectly timed, to be along with Judge at the top of the lineup. And, one of the questions I have is at what point does Aaron Boone put Anthony Volpe in the number one spot in the lineup?
Tonkin gets traded to Minnesota. Tehran pitches one game, gets DFA'd. Is Stearns just actually auditioning guys like in season? Or is he just kind of throwing darts up, trying to see if something sticks? Like, what's the game plan here with some of these moves?
No, and I think that what you're seeing is someone who is really good at running a small market team with the Brewers, using a lot of those type of moves and trying to plug and fill and trying to find solutions. And it's why, as we go forward, if they don't improve, then you got to believe that, because right now he's got Steve Cohen's ear, that, trading Pete Alonso is going to be on the table at some point. And it would be a huge, and it would be a big deal. But, I mentioned the Pirates getting the timing right. What really, for me, is becoming apparent is that the timing of the Mets and where the veteran position players are versus where their organizational pitching is, it's really poorly timed. By the time they get their organizational pitching in order, then you know what? Guys like Lindor and Nimmo, they could be on the backside. And it's something that David's going to have to address as he takes over here.
Talk with Buster Olney, our colleague at ESPN, here on the Michael Kay Show. Now, I love the game of baseball. It gives me no joy whatsoever to just bash them. But, Buster, how are they allowing the Athletics to play 3 years in a minor league ballpark? I mean, if Tony Clark wanted to really flex, he'd refuse to have his union play in a minor league ballpark. It doesn't make sense. Couldn't there have been a better solution to that?
Yeah, you would assume, and I agree with you. Today we're just going to rip everybody at the top of the leadership chain on both sides because it doesn't feel like there's any leadership on this issue. I cannot believe that the other 29 owners don't step in and say, look, this is not going to work for us. Because you think of what John Fisher right now, the A's, he's kind of like the guy in the golf club who's running around the course wearing nothing but a jock strap, swearing at everybody, not acting, conducting himself with the same rules everybody else expects. And you keep wondering, when are the other 29 owners going to say, look, this makes us all look bad? It's terrible for the sport. It's not only have they been an embarrassment in recent years, but if you allow them to go to Sacramento, where you get the 14,000-seat park with 4,000 of it people sitting on the grass, are they literally playing in a minor league facility? But because they're not going to have any revenue stream, it guarantees that they're going to tank at least 3 or 4 more seasons beyond the seasons that they've tanked. They're going to have to borrow the integrity of all the other teams. I agree with you. Why not just go to them as they have with other teams and say, look, we're buying you out. We'll give you market price, but we're buying your franchise, and then essentially put them up for auction and restart conversations. Hey, Oakland, put together a proposal. Sacramento, put together a proposal. Vegas, put together a proposal. You know that there's going to be people, billionaires, who want to buy a baseball team. You're probably going to get a much better situation than you have right now. I don't understand why they stand by and let it happen.
Now, we had on your colleague Jeff Passan a couple of weeks ago, and I asked him straight out, what do you think Soto is going to get? and he said $50 million a year. Are you in agreement, or do you think it's going to be a different number?
I do. I think he's right. I think he's going to break Ohtani's, contract record, and that is the actual number. The fake number is the $700 million number. Okay, present day value, his contract's worth $461. He's going to break that. He's in an amazing position because, first and foremost, he's a Hall of Fame talent. The closest thing we've seen to Ted Williams, in decades. He's in a perfect spot with the team this year to have an absolutely phenomenal year. And at the end of the year, he's got the Yankees trying to keep him, and he's going to have the Mets coming after him. You cannot have a better bidding situation. So I do think that that's absolutely reasonable to think that he's going to get $50 million a year.
Now, does it matter? Are the Mets going to go after him no matter what? Or if you're a Yankee fan who wants to keep Soto, are you rooting for the Mets to be competitive and make the playoffs so Cohen doesn't have egg on his face after a bad year and feels like I have to pay Soto no matter what because of what happened in 2024?
Don, I don't think it matters. I think the Mets are going after him one way or the other.
Okay.
Whether it's because they have a bad year and they lose Alonso and they have to begin to change the conversation, or if it's because they're looking ahead and saying we need an anchor to build around going forward. And certainly Soto at his age would make him more attractive to the Mets if they see a long runway ahead of them and developing the pitching. Whatever it is, the Mets are going after him.
It's interesting you say that because, Yankee fans have been calling in, and it looks like such a perfect match with the Yankees. It really does. The ballpark, the support system, the Dominican fans, all of it. It seems perfect. And the Yankee fans are saying, well, the Yankees should sign him now. Buster, I don't think that's a viable opportunity. I don't think that Boris would advise him to do that. Even if the Yankees came in and said, listen, we'll give you $500 million for 10 years, I think he'd turn it down.
And all we have to do is look at the Aaron Judge situation and his negotiations to tell you that to get into an open bidding situation, which is what Scott always advises, you're going to get more money, right? The Yankees are sitting at 320, and then lo and behold, Peter Seidler, the Padres, kind of come out of left field, surprise everybody. They offer him a $400 million contract, and that, in the end, was what made the Yankees move to 360. And so if you're Boris and you see this, a phenomenal bidding situation developing, you probably wouldn't have that conversation unless Soto became one of the very few Boris clients who went to Scott and said, look, I'm happy. I want to stay here. Jared Weaver did it with the Angels. Andrew Jones did it with the Braves. It's possible for Soto to go and do that. Right. Altuve's done it. So it's possible that happens, but it's unlikely. And if you look at the history, it would make sense for Soto to hit the market because he probably would get more money if he had these two teams bidding on him.
And also, Buster, he loved playing in D.C. He said he wanted to play his whole career. They offered him $440 million. He turned it down. So now you're 5 months away from being a free agent. Why would you change your tack? It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. Right. And I just personally hope for him. I had this conversation with Alex Rodriguez when we worked on Sunday Night Baseball together. When he signed with the Texas Rangers for $252 million, twice as much money as any of the other professional athlete in North American sports with that contract. And within 2 weeks, he did an interview in which he said to the New York Post, all things being equal, I wish I had signed with the Mets, which was one of the saddest things that I ever saw. I hope that in the end, Soto, who's going to get an incredible amount of money no matter where he signs, if he decides, look, you know what, this place or that place is the place where I'm going to be most happy. And maybe that's with the Mets, maybe it's with the Yankees, we'll find out. But he seems really happy with the Yankees.
And he's playing very well. Buster, thanks so much, always.
Okay, guys, thanks for having me.
That's Buster Only. So interesting stuff on the pitching situation and some of the surprises in baseball. We haven't talked to you that much, so we're going to take some phone calls when we get back. You know the number, 1-800-919-3776. But first, Peter's going to tell us.
The magical time between school letting out and dinner is a piece of chaos.
These 4-serving meals make everything so much easier.
Home Chef's family menu. Get 18 free meals at homechef.com. Hey. Hey. Rental? Yep. You? Yeah. You know, your shoe's untied.
Oh! Don't let a boxy suit ruin your night. Read from theblackducks.com.
This year, we're giving you a clean slate with fresh, better-for-you ingredients and an easier way to cook. Dinner time just got a whole lot better for you. So sit back and enjoy.
New season, new reasons to say yes.
This is star power.
Wow. Cole dials it up. What a home run for Soto. Aaron Judge crushes one. Get all the Yankees action. The Yes app.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Playing in Yankee Stadium is the best thing that could ever happen to a ball player.
It's a huge honor to put this uniform on.
World champions, team of the decade.
There it goes! The Yankees are back on top.
This is the Yankees being the Yankees.
Listen up, Nets World. Get into the action and lock in a 2024-25 Nets level membership. Members have it all, from exclusive events and behind-the-scenes access to discounts across merch and tickets. Not to mention the ticket flexibility in the first place, with round-the-clock management and seamless transfer to your squad. This is Brooklyn, and it's yours. Become a member today.
Problems. My problem? Like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
Is it possible to be more capable and more practical? Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road, as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
The fact that this Reese's ad showed up at this exact moment proves that your devices are listening to your stomach.
Been there, done that, messed around. I'm having fun. Don't put me down. I'll never let you.
With Allegra, allergies won't hold me back. Allegra starts working 2 times faster than Claritin, and unlike Zyrtec, won't make me drowsy. Nothing beats Allegra. It's the fastest, non-drowsy, 24-hour allergy relief.
I was diagnosed at 65.
37. Earlier than most.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association. Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
So felt like treating myself. I walked during a commercial to the press room, and I decided, you know what? Treat yourself, Michael. Have a chocolate chip cookie.
Aw.
Right?
Why not?
Grab it, bite it.
And Dan Snyder shows up, slaps you right in the face.
You know what? This is worse.
Okay.
This is worse.
It was a raisin.
It was raisin.
Oh.
There should be clear marking. Why should I have to put myself through that?
No, it's not. I don't like that you went through that. I don't think it's right for you or your family.
And I gagged, too. I gagged.
Well, come on. Raisins are delightful.
No, they're not. They're just shrunken grapes.
No, the grapes are delightful.
Grapes are
but
delightful.
hold on. Even if you think raisins are delightful, they're not delightful relative to chocolate chips.
Oh, what a great comeback.
I'm not arguing that he was duped. But I don't think he should be upset because raisins are delightful.
Yeah, it's just disappointing when you're thinking chocolate chip.
Right, you're thinking chocolate chip and you get something, remotely healthy.
I wouldn't say they're remotely healthy. They're just like nothing with sugar. They're still straight sugar. Does raisin have anything redeeming?
Well, even grapes are like that.
I feel like raisins are even worse. I'm making that up, but that's how I feel.
I like grapes.
No, I like grapes.
Love grapes.
I don't think they're particularly redeeming. They have antioxidants. I know they have antioxidants.
But if I'm sitting there watching a game and I'm eating a bowl of grapes as opposed to a bowl of Doritos, I'm better off with the grapes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, okay. Don, Don is like that guy in recovery who's comparing everything to heroin. We know it's not Doritos.
And I've told you I'm in recovery.
Is that right? And we know.
But even if it was a delightful sun chip, it's still better.
Sun chip, by the way, that you want to know misleading though?
Oh, I know, you're so right.
I used to eat sun chips by the bag just because it says 30% better than other. But 30% better than what? You look at what's in the back of it, you go, this is nothing but trans fat, calories, salt, sodium. And every day when I was a fat schlub working at the after school program that I worked at, I would stop by the grocery store and I'd grab a half a pound of tuna salad and a bag of sun chips. And I would just sit there like a pig.
Right, you thought you were doing something great.
Yeah, I'm like, this isn't that
Fish,
bad.
sun chips.
Yeah, there's a little mayo in the tuna, but I'm having these healthy sun chips, and it's fish. Ugh, look at me. I showed up in New York a couple years later, looked like a fat pig.
But look at you now.
I'll tell you what, by the way, though, over the weekend, I don't know if you guys saw the pictures on my Instagram of me in my suit and stuff.
Tremendous.
The hair and makeup people, when they got me ready, I had them just give me a little bit of the Just for Men on my. Hold on, let me do this. Anthony, sales opportunity. I used a little bit of the Just for Men on my beard.
How'd it look?
Oh my God! Let me tell you something. I know you can't see on TV that I have any grays here, but I do, and I also have these kind of thin spots in the beard. So you take a little bit of the Just for Men. You hit the gray spots, but then you also just hit some of the thinner spots, and it gives me, at first they went a little too far. I looked like DJ Khaled. I said, let's bring this thing down a notch, and then Michael, it felt great. Some people feel bad about getting a little help. I didn't. Loved it. If I was a woman, I'd be wearing a push-up bra every day.
Well, I'm not a woman, and I do every day.
Is that true?
Yeah. Why not?
I don't mind help. Give me a little help.
Let's go to Joe in Washington Heights. Joe.
Hey, Michael, Don, Peter, how you guys doing?
Good. Great. What's up?
So it's funny. I didn't know Buster was talking today, but I wanted to talk about solutions I've been hearing for the arm injuries, and some of them are, I guess, what Buster brought up. So I'm not going to be redundant. So the first one was the pre-tacked baseballs that they're using in Korea, and then I think they tried it a couple years ago in the minor leagues, but Trevor Plouffe was saying that his problem with the sticky stuff when he was playing ball was that the ball wasn't white, and that's really what tripped him up, and that the too strong of grip that players are doing is just blowing out their ligaments.
Well, that's what Tyler Glasnow said, Joe. And because they don't have the sticky stuff, you're gripping it even tighter to get that spin, and it's putting so much pressure on the elbow joint.
Yeah, and the other ones were banning radar guns outside of the MLB. I don't really like that one, but limiting the bullpen, and then increasing the strike zone. I don't really agree with any of these really.
Yeah, but they won't do that, Joe, because ultimately what they want is more offense. So if they make the strike zone bigger, there's going to be less offense. But the strike, Don, you'll see when in a couple of years with Marco, you go to Little League games or whatever, or travel team. They've got radar guns on kids. It's disgraceful.
But
you can't outlaw it.
No, because they got to scout, and one of the things they want to scout is do you throw hard? What was that line from? What was the movie that the guy that came up as a rookie in his late 30s?
Rookie of the Year.
The Rookie. No, not the Rookie. It was about Jim Morris.
Right, yeah, from the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at the time. And I remember one of the scenes in the movie is the scouts if I don't report a guy throwing 98 miles per hour, I'm going to lose my job.
I think it is the Rookie.
That is what you look at. That's the early indication. Hey, this guy's got velocity. We can work with this. So no, you're not going to ban that. And there's nothing wrong with velocity. But the point is that does it have to be so much constantly? Some of the best pitchers in baseball, they are hittable in the first inning. Why? Because they're not going nuts in the first inning because they want to last the 7th and the 8th inning. And they try to pace themselves. But some of these guys come out and they're throwing 96-mile-per-hour sliders in the first inning, and by the 5th, 6th inning, they're done. And most of these organizations are cool with that because they want to get into the bullpen. They're hot to get to the bullpen. They don't want you to go the third time through the order. So sometimes the teams are the worst enemy of the pitchers, too, where they're not looking for anybody to go the distance anymore. And so these pitchers aren't looking at wins. They're looking at velocity. They're looking at how many strikeouts they can get in the amount of time in which they're going to be able to pitch because they're not saving themselves for the 7th, 8th, 9th inning because they know they're not going to be around that long.
Baseball has so many issues when it comes to young people becoming baseball players. So I was talking to a friend of mine whose son is 10 years old, right? On a travel team. He's 10. Let that sink in. $5,000 to be on a travel team.
Wow.
You're losing lower income people that can't afford to put their kids on a travel team. And then all the travel teams are looking for velocity. These kids are constantly throwing. Kids also have their own private coaches that they pay, and they're throwing with them. That's why arms are exploding. Arms can only take so much.
Now, listen, Marco's very young, and the town in which we have baseball, he's in coach pitch right now, which basically is a pitching machine that they're using, and they're kids. But what I'm seeing in the soccer that Marco plays, and it's all great, but I watch it. When I was a kid, you played. And then as you got better, hey, you got singled out. Hey, you're actually pretty good. Let's work on some things because I think you might have a future. It feels like the second these guys start to play, you're preparing them for the big leagues. And when can we just have some fun? Let's go out, have fun, play games, and then when you start to get to high school or college, then we start working on things. But it feels like.
But I blame the parents, Don. It's parents that might have had failed dreams at what they wanted to do, and then they're living through their child because they want the child to become a professional baseball player.
Right, they're living vicariously through their kids.
Yeah.
And no, it's not just baseball; it's all these sports.
It's all the sports.
And the thing with Marco is, Michael, he's only 6. So he doesn't want to do drills. He wants to play. He wants a game. When there's a game, then he gets excited. But when he starts going through drills, he kind of gets bored. And I wonder if that happens now, too, where the kid gets bored and they pull him out. And there could be a future there because you're so focused on doing all of the little skill things and not just letting them go out there and play and kind of figuring out as you play. And I just don't want to sit there and take my 6-year-old kid or my daughter who's getting into different things and start preparing them for greatness. That should just come naturally because not everybody's meant to be a Major League Baseball
But you know
player.
what you can have fun with, Don? And fun, I'm saying facetiously, is seeing how out of control the parents are. Riding umpires. It's unbelievable. I sit there, I don't say a word. I mean, I cheer when Charlie does something well, but I'm not riding it. I mean, come on. It's out of control.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to umpires yet, but I know I can see, and it all comes. And I think I haven't seen it personally. I mean, I saw it when I was a kid. And my dad was my coach, and I would see sometimes, fathers screaming and yelling. And it's what you said. They failed at trying to become a Major League ball player, basketball player, or whatever. So they're living vicariously through their kids. But I just hope that it's supposed to be just fun, because if you take the fun out of it, then there's a lot of really good potential athletes out there, Michael, that end up quitting because it's not fun. Eventually, you're going to get to the point where you're going to have to know all the ins and outs when it really becomes ultra competitive. But at a young age, I like what they're doing in our town. Just have some fun. They're keeping score, but it's kind of on the square. You know, like there's not a big scoreboard. The coaches kind of keep it for clerical reasons, but the kids are just, Marco just wants to get up at bat. He wants to catch the ball when it's hit to him. You know, Peter, once you start getting like clinical, then he wants to check out. He's 6. He wants to run. He wants to have fun. He wants to play.
I always wonder in the case of like kids who do anything intensely, and I see this in my other worlds with DJing or making music or any of that stuff, like where the line gets drawn on whether you're overstepping as a parent. Because like the kids will all tell you they love it, but simultaneously it can feel like they don't even get the chance to choose whether it's something they love.
Right.
It's just like, this is what you love. Oh no, trust me, they love it. They love it. But how do they decide?
But like Jalen does dance. I don't take her to dance because it's our thing on Saturdays. I take her to dance class. I watch. We go for breakfast. I'm not thinking Juilliard when I just think she wants to have fun and dance and she's preparing for a recital and all that. At some point, I guess we're going to see if there's potential. We start moving in a certain direction. But right now, at this age, just have fun. And I feel like sometimes in certain towns and certain communities, it's almost like, well, let's try to make the next Derek Jeter. And if he's going to make it, he's got to, skate. Yarmir Yager started skating it too, so let's get skates on them. Can I see if Marco can skate first before I start buying like $1,000 worth of equipment and throwing him on the ice and find out he doesn't like it? Let's just have fun and let it all kind of grow. That's how I got into it. And then my talent wasn't good enough. And maybe if my talent was, we would move them in a different direction, but not at such a young age.
Let's go to Michael in the Bronx. Michael.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for taking my call.
You got it.
Thoughts and prayers about the oatmeal raisin, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
I was
awful.
Say, yeah, tough. I was going to wonder, Soto's been playing incredibly well. Judge has been slow. Obviously, he's not going to finish the year hitting under 200. If teams will start intentionally walking Soto, similar to what happened with Teixeira and A-Rod in 2009 before A-Rod got hot, and if that happened, would they switch Judge and Soto in the order? I also had a fast question about why Trent Grisham hasn't been playing at like defensive replacement late, but that's like the secondary point.
All right, so I'll answer your first one. I'll let you ask the second. I don't think we're anywhere near that point. I think Judge is going to hit. I was of the opinion Judge has always been the number 2 hitter. Without protection, he still hit 62 home runs. And Soto preferred to hit third when he was San Diego. So I would have hit Soto third because I think Soto has such an unerring eye at the plate. He'd still get his walks no matter who's behind him. I just don't think we're anywhere near that. If it becomes that, maybe they do flip-flop it. But I don't think Judge's problem is that he's not swinging at strikes. I just don't think he's locked in yet. What was your question about Grisham?
I know Soto had a great play to start the season. He doesn't look like a scrub in the outfield, but obviously Grisham is like a defensive genius in center, and Judge is like an elite right fielder. I'm surprised they haven't put him in for defense in the end.
Well, I think some of the games that the Yankees won, especially the ones in Houston, Mike, they were close. So you don't want to take Soto's bat out to make it a defensive switch. So I just don't think that they're going to do. I mean, Soto to me has, at least at Yankee Stadium, he can be better at going back on balls. There have been balls over his head that he has not been great at, but he's pretty good coming in, and he's shown a pretty good arm. So I don't think he's not a negative to them at this point, if that makes sense. But I don't think they're gonna risk taking Soto's bat out of the lineup in a close game to put Grisham's bat in the lineup. That doesn't make any sense. But Peter, talking about Dodge, that makes sense.
You're so right, Mike.
Before ClickUp, we were kind of a mess. We had so many different systems that we were using to communicate and share knowledge that you kind of had to code switch every time you were talking to somebody different.
We have distributed teams all across the world. There's a clear time difference there, and I think ClickUp really helps manage all that information regardless of time. We can communicate asynchronously, and so we are able to be very productive using ClickUp.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat, sourced from trusted partners, with free shipping, always. So you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
Let's explore your future with Udemy. You can learn how to program and build websites, study design and create logos, improve your presentation skills, and sell your ideas. With Udemy, you can learn practical skills from thousands of online courses taught by real-world experts. Explore your future. Udemy.
Don't work for your money, let it work for you.
What money?
You're behind with student debt. Your budget is basic.
That was last call.
You're going to be lost, left behind. If I were
Payroll's late.
I've got 16 money apps.
I got a budgeting dashboard.
Managers don't avoid it.
Try this app. It's Albert. It's got banking, savings, investing, and budgeting all in one place. It's simple.
Simple.
There's an easier way. From little fixes to big projects, taking care of your home is easy with Thumbtack. Download the Thumbtack app and start caring for your home today.
Growing up, I always wanted to do so many things.
I wanted to be a vet.
I wanted to be an actor.
When I was really little, I don't know why, but I wanted to be a pastor. When I was like a small child.
I wanted to be a celebrity by any means necessary.
This is Spike Drop Vegas Heist.
These players are playing for a lot of money today.
I'm only here for 2 feet. I don't really care about any other place.
Can't even comprehend what is going on, but I like it.
Amazing bargain with this place. If you don't take it, I will.
The listing mentioned ocean views?
Yes, it's ocean view adjacent. See that place? If you look through it, you'll see a gorgeous ocean view.
If it's important, it's not worth compromising, which is why with Farmers, you don't have to compromise quality to get great savings on your insurance.
Oh, look, a seagull.
That's a pigeon. Seagull adjacent.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks, making them America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the 2024 North American Truck of the Year. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough. See your Ford dealer today and celebrate leadership with special offers on Ford F-Series.
If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma or asbestos lung cancer, choose the right law firm by asking, what are your highest verdicts? What experience do you have? How many lawyers are on staff? How many clients have you represented? Speak to Weitz and Luxembourg at 800-LAW-6789 to get unmatched answers. It's the biggest financial decision of your life. Call 800-LAW-6789 or visit mesowin.com.
It's a thing of beauty.
Deliveries happen.
Hello? We didn't order that.
You sure you don't want to take it for a bounce?
We're good.
Keys.
Frazzled happens.
Hey, did you check your jacket? You're my hero.
Close calls happen.
What? Not today.
All good?
All good.
Did you set the alarm?
This happens.
Exit delay started.
That happens.
Socks. No.
Bottom of the ninth. Charlie's up to bat.
And the pitch.
Oh, let's go!
Home happens. Be there with Ring. Learn more at ring.com.
The Library of Congress invites you to visit the revamped Veterans History Project website, where firsthand accounts shared by U.S. military veterans are accessible to the public. Performing a search of the collection is easy. First, go to loc.gov/vets. Click Explore the Collections. Scroll down to Search the VHP Collections and click. Make sure you're searching this collection, and with simple keywords, you can find what you're looking for. Visit loc.gov/vets today.
This is a takeover show, so it's all Meredith from the field with great interviews. So we will have ENN as a radio vehicle.
He should still wake up.
1-800-919-3776. Let's go to Ken in Connecticut. Ken.
Hey, what's up, guys? No haikus today. I promise.
And probably never again.
No, it's like,
it's
awful. Brought me on.
It's awful.
Fine.
Awful.
And you guys go ahead.
It's my fault. I apologize. Never again. But you're more than welcome to call every day if you like.
And I would love it. Like I said, you guys have brought me in. Michael, you're my favorite announcer. So
there you go.
God bless you. Thank you.
I love it.
So the thing is, as overjoyed as I am about the Yankees start, Shohei Ohtani, the story has just completely fallen by the wayside. Like, if you Google him, nothing even really comes up in the first, 6 searches of what's happening. So it's like, yeah, he's hit a bomb. That's great. And I know the investigation is going on, and that's great. However, do we remember what it was 2 weeks ago when the season started? How concerned we were about Major League Baseball and this story? What are we doing here?
Well, I think, this is what I feel. I don't think that Major League Baseball wants to find anything. But, I trust them that if they find something, it will be a situation that they'll take care of. The federal investigation supposedly is ongoing. Major League Baseball's investigation is ongoing. So we're not going to hear updates on that. But I think the most unbelievable thing to me, fans don't care about this. The guy has never had to take questions on this. Not once. Not once. What other athlete in any professional sport would be allowed to remain mum, not say a word other than a prepared statement, and never take a question? Did you gamble on baseball?
But you know what's interesting, Michael, is that the biggest problem with Major League Baseball is working in their favor in this situation. It's a regional sport. It was a big deal for a little bit, and then we kind of settle in. But
it's not a regional sport when it comes to a Dodger and the biggest name in the sport.
But no one cares anymore. Like, if this had been, LeBron James, it would be going on and on and on. I mean, Ohtani's a name, but let's face it, Michael, it's a name that resonates with a lot of people, but he's played in the West Coast his entire life. People are focused on their teams. Yankee fans are watching the Yankees. Met fans are watching the Mets, and now they've kind of settled into the season. It was a story before the season started, and once we started playing, nobody's focused on it because they only care about their team. They only care about what's going on in their world. Ohtani's 3,000 miles away, playing in games that right now nobody cares about. Now, when he comes to New York, I'm sure there'll be a little bit of a stir because it'll get talked about again. And then when he leaves to go someplace else, it'll go back to not being a non-story.
All right, so let's say we buy into what you're saying. It's a story in L.A. Why is he allowed not to answer questions?
I'm not defending that. I'm just saying that, you said fans don't care.
I didn't say that.
No, you didn't. You just say the fans...
The fans should care. Of course, I didn't say the fans don't care. You said they don't care because it's regional.
But the fans don't seem to care when an athlete doesn't speak.
Yes.
Now all of a sudden you're going to be hypocritical and say, well, he should be talking whenever their favorite player doesn't speak. Well, why do they have to talk to you?
But it's just amazing to me, after every kind of tough loss, Francisco Lindor talks, Aaron Judge talks, Juan Soto, the biggest stars in the world. This guy does not have to answer a question, and he's in the middle of what could be one of the biggest scandals in baseball history, and he has not answered a question.
Is there anything that you can compare to this?
Nothing. There's nothing. I've never heard of a star, a superstar, just completely be allowed to ignore the media and in effect, ignore the fans, too. It's amazing to me. And you know who started it? The Angels. The Angels let him get away with it. And the Dodgers, well, this is what it's been. They let him get away with it. He had a press conference, read from a statement, and did not take the question that everyone wants to know. Did you gamble on baseball? Which he said in the press conference that he didn't. And then explain to me how somebody could take $4.5 million out of your account. You didn't see it. Your representatives didn't notice. How did that happen? Doesn't have to answer that question.
But it is amazing. Now, granted, a lot of these scandals and things happened with guys in New York, like Alex Rodriguez. But, whether it was Sosa or McGuire with the PEDs or Pete Rose with his gambling scandal, it's all anybody talked about forever, right? why is this dying now? And I think it does play into the fact that, in general, people just care about what's going on. It's not a national sport anymore, Michael. It's just not. So, Ohtani, that's L.A.'s problem. That's the Dodgers' problem. You know, they're focused on when's Judge going to hit, when's Nemo going to hit.
This guy's an international star.
I know, but the one thing I do think you exaggerate a bit, Michael, is his effect in the States. Yes, he's an international star, but again, to most people, all right, that's Japan's problem. Like, I don't know how much he translates into superstardom in the United States. Now, if he played for the Yankees, I think it would completely be unbelievable.
But he's playing for the Dodgers,
yeah, and in L.A., it's a big deal, but I don't think people in New York care about what's happening with it. Now, it's better than the Angels because the Dodgers are really good, and I think the Dodgers have a little bit more of a following.
Yeah, a lot more.
A lot more, but not enough to where, Peter, it becomes a national story anymore. Once you threw the first pitch, you're focused on your team. Now, when the Dodgers come here, it'll be a traveling circus.
Well, there just hasn't been enough follow-up from it. I mean, I think this would be a really big story if frankly, baseball was requiring him to talk in any way. But because it's quiet, Michael, what do people really have to say about it? It's hard. There's no new information.
Yeah, I mean, what do we continue to have these discussions? He should be talking, or, gee, how could he have not known about the $4.5 million? We have nothing to go on, which is exactly their plan. And I would love for it to happen in New York. I always talk about this guy because he's a good friend and he's a dogged reporter. I would love to see them try to pull that nonsense with Joel Sherman. And there's some good reporters in L.A. It wouldn't be allowed. He would be in Hal Steinbrenner's office. Why is this going on? We have to ask this guy questions.
Now, I was kidding on the square a little bit when I said about the lack of interest on the West Coast in sports, but this is kind of feeding into what I was saying, is that there's no accountability out there, Michael. Remember when Manny Ramirez was a Red Sox, it's like, oh my God, well, they embraced him in LA. They didn't care about his antics or anything because that's just kind of how things are out there. So I don't know how much they care out there, Michael. And so the media, I think, covers as much as they think the fans care. I don't know if the fans in LA or the fans on the West Coast have that level of accountability that they have here at the East, where the media is just kind of going with what the fans want to know. They demand information. The media goes out there and gets it. I think the media is taking the cue from the fans. The fans don't care, so the media doesn't care.
Yeah, well, again, I'm not going to sit here and judge the LA media, but your job is not to give the fans what they want. Your job is to get to the truth. And then if you get to the truth and you have a big story, the fans might want it.
No, unfortunately, Michael, the job is your publisher telling you what story to go out there and get, and they're motivated by what the readers want to read about.
What publisher wouldn't want to win a Pulitzer Prize and find out that there's something untoward going on with Shohei Ohtani? It could be the biggest story ever. And you're allowing him to get away with not answering questions. It's inconceivable to me. Peter, again, you said it. Think about an athlete in the middle of something like this that has never had to answer questions. A-Rod answered questions. Pete Rose answered questions. Where are the questions? Where are they? Where are the answers? I hope that the investigators are making him answer questions.
It's very weird, Michael, and in the long run, it could end up looking very, very bad for baseball. The fact that Michael Kay is pointing this out, now granted, Michael, you're sort of in a unique position, voice of a team and have a talk show in a major market, but I have to imagine throughout baseball, people have this conversation. Not just people writing. You have Dodgers writers who must be thinking it and frustrated because they think they have the opportunity to get to a big story. But throughout the country, people must be thinking, what gives here? Not to mention every other ball player who's been investigated for other stuff where they would not get off these guys' backs. I mean, all these other subjects. Now, granted, you could view this as a different sort of controversy than a steroid situation, but this seems like a standard that is unfair and that there's no precedent for.
Think about it in football, which is they control the media more than anybody. The biggest stars, the quarterbacks, they have to answer questions at least once a week. Bill Belichick, although he didn't say anything, he had to answer questions once a week. LeBron James has to answer questions after every single game. Shohei Ohtani has yet to answer a question. Inconceivable to me. A lot of stuff to do. We'll come back. Yankees, Mets, UConn, Rangers, Knicks, Islanders. What a day in sports right here on Yes 98.7 ESPN.
We just signed the lease on our 3rd shop. I guess we're a chain now, right? We've worked so hard to get here. My assistant went to customink.com to get our new uniforms and merch with all the location names. Our custom gear helps him get our brand out into the community. He takes care of all of our custom ink orders. He was able to find great products, upload the new art, and have boxes sent directly to each of the shops. Custom Ink makes it so easy. Get started today at customink.com.
With features you won't find on Honda CR-V, Toyota RAV4, or Subaru Forester, the Hyundai Tucson puts the other guys in their place. Namely, the rear-view mirror. Only offers end soon.
Temptations dry cat food.
Bring color to life with the very best paint. Only at Sherwin-Williams.
Well, if you want my 2 cents on interest rates, we got options.
My 2 cents. This one's priced to sell.
My 2 cents?
My 2 cents?
My 2 cents? My 2 cents? My 2 cents?
Here's my 2 cents on planning for the future. Interest plus interest equals more interest. Come on, you can drink that.
Hi, Joan. Perfect timing. I have a few questions.
Let's look at your plan and see what makes sense for you.
Welcome to Win Reality. Experience unlimited at-bats from home any season, anytime. See game speed pitches from more than 600 pitchers. Get ready for game time with game simulations. Face your friends in live competitions. And train like the pros with expert drills and metrics to track your progress. So when your moment comes, you'll be ready. Win Reality. Baseball uncaged.
No, for you grab him a little bit. When you swing, this part of the bat is supposed to be. Life is hard, but you guys have to work harder, okay?
Yes.
Be resilient. You're welcome. Oh, wow, look, you blew everything. We're gonna come out looking like our pops.
What do you do wrong?
No, I ain't doing nothing wrong. My name is O'Neal Trinidad, and I want to live.
Is it possible to be more capable and more practical? Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road, as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
So much to do, so much to talk about, not that much time. Only on for another hour and a half, but we'll try to get it done. Yankees tonight. Some news from Aaron Boone. Yesterday, Garrett Cole threw for the first time, not from a mound, but just threw. No complications. Everything went well. That's a positive. Yankees beat up on a bad Marlins team. Marlins are 1-10. Yankees are 9-2. Carlos Rodano's pitched well in 2 games so far this year. He'll go against A.J. Puck, who has not pitched well. Marlins are not a good team. It's not inconceivable the Yankees could take this 3-game set. Then they have Thursday off, and they go to Cleveland to play 3 against the Guardians, and then Toronto to play 3 against the Blue Jays. The Mets, fresh off, I'd say it's the best win of the year. Wouldn't you agree, Don? They're down 4-0 to their arch nemesis. Everything has gone wrong down in Atlanta for them over the years, including losing those final 3 games of the regular season when Buck was the manager, and then getting beaten by the Padres. and they go down 4-0, you could easily say, okay, we're going to lose this game. They didn't. Big night for Nimmo. Big catch in the outfield. Big hit by Stewart.
Yeah.
And they win. That's a big win for them.
Well, Anthony looked it up. The ESPN win probability for the Braves going into the fourth, up 4-0, was 94.1. And I'm sure it would be even higher if you found out that Alonso and Lindor and Marte would not contribute to any of the offense. That Nimmo would go 4 for 4 with 5 RBIs, and they'd get big hits from other guys, and then the big catch in the ninth inning. Like, they really played well. Now, they're depleting their bullpen, unfortunately. There's just guys just not available. Like, Diaz wasn't available to them last night. Ottavino wasn't available to them last night. This is killer for them because they're not getting any length out of their starting pitchers. We'll see what Hauser does tonight. But, hey, Michael, you started out 0-5, and now you're 4-6. You took a series from Cincinnati on the road. Now you're taking game 1 of a 4-game set against the Braves. That place has been a house of horrors for them. You got nothing out of your starting pitcher, nothing out of your big stud offensive players, and you found a way to win a game. And hold on, right? You were down 4-0, tied it. Down 5-4, took a 6-5 lead, 8-5 lead. Had to hold on for dear life and 1-8-7, but there was a... Howie tweeted out, Howie's not on this trip, and you can tell it's killing him because he tweets like every second while these games are going on. I don't know if you remember back, I think it was 1990. The Mets beat the Phillies at the Vet on a game which they almost blew like a 6-run lead in the ninth inning.
Right.
And Bob Murphy on the final out says the Mets win the damn thing. And that's what Howie tweeted out last night, because I had that kind of feeling like they're not winning this game. So that's always been kind of a phrase whenever they almost blow a game. And I'm watching that, and I just couldn't believe they won the game. I know it's only April, but it just felt really good to get that game because I didn't think there was any chance they were going to be able to hold on to that lead the way the bullpen's been pitching.
All right, so the Mets are 4-6 after an 0-5 start. Met fans have to feel a little bit better. I know they were really down, and the play-by-play announcer was down, calling it rock bottom. So the bottom line is they are now 4-6. And one thing about the Yankees, they're 9-2. Do you guys realize? I didn't realize till I just read it. It's tied for the best start in Yankee history after 11 games. 7 other Yankee teams have done it. No team has ever been 10-1. So 9-2 is tied for the best start in Yankee history.
Wow.
It's a pretty good start.
You kidding me?
And I think all the other starts that ended up in the World Series or a championship.
Well, let's see. 1922, 1933, 1949, 1953, 1988, they didn't win a World Series. Then 2003, they didn't win. 2020, they didn't win. And last night, so that makes them 9-2.
But 2000 World Series, 03 World Series. So 88, not so much.
No, I didn't say 2000.
I thought you said 2000. So
2003.
Yeah, they went to the World Series.
Right,
What was
they
the
didn't
one
win.
before that?
The one before was 1988.
Okay.
Now, you might say, because you're a curious type, Don, have they ever been 10-2? Yes. Just 3 times, 1922, 1949, 2003. So a good start for them, and it wasn't an easy schedule. Now, you can't say the Marlins are tough, but you can say that the Astros and the Diamondbacks are. So certainly not Fugazi win, so good for them, and good for the Mets going to 4-6. We'll see what they do tonight. And as I mentioned, Carlos Rodon looking for his first win of the season, but he does have a 2.79 ERA. Now, the Rangers and the Islanders tonight. Ramifications for both. Rangers want to clinch things, and the Islanders need to keep winning to hold on to a playoff spot, Don, and that's a game at UBS Arena tonight.
Yes, and it's so weird. It's the first time the Rangers it's the Rangers' last road game of the regular season, and it's their first game at UBS because the other game that was the road game was the one at MetLife. So this place is going to be crazy. Islanders need every game they can get. Rangers want to win. Forget the President's Trophy. They'd like to win that, but that doesn't mean anything for the first round. Winning the conference is the most important thing. And I think if they win the conference, they'll win the President's Trophy. The interesting kind of rub is the team that is chasing you in the Metropolitan Division, Carolina, is playing Boston. You're going to be actually rooting for the Metropolitan team because you'd rather widen your lead in the conference than in your division. So Boston's home for Carolina, and the Rangers hope that, Carolina wins that game. Rangers win their game, take care of business, get that 1 seed, and have to take on these myriad of what feels like average teams to grab that 8 seed. And the Islanders, if they get that 3 seed, they would take on Carolina in the first round of the playoffs, and that's who knocked them out last year. So still 4 games left. These 2 teams will play on Saturday afternoon on national television on ABC. So 4 games for both, and 5 games for the Islanders, 4 for the Rangers, and it's a big game tonight. It'll be even a bigger game on Saturday.
All right, so we have the Knicks tonight against the Bulls, and you could hear that right here on 98.7. And there's so many things that they could do here. They could finish second. They're 1 game behind the slumping Bucks. So, they're actually tied with the Magic. And the Magic have the tiebreaker with the Knicks. But they're both just 1 game behind the Bucks. Bucks have played awful. They're only a half game ahead of the Cavs. Right now, the Knicks are in 4th. They're a half game ahead of the Cavs, and they're a game and a half ahead of the Pacers. But then the 76ers are in the 7th spot, 2.5 behind the Knicks. The Heat are in the 8th spot, and they're 3 games behind the Knicks. The Bulls are in the 9th spot. They're far behind, and the Hawks are in the 10th spot right now. In terms of, like, tiebreakers, the Knicks own the tiebreakers over the Cavs, the Sixers, and the Heat. They lose tiebreakers against the Bucks, the Magic, and the Pacers. So it's going to go right down to it. The Knicks play the Bulls tonight. Then they play the Celtics in Boston on Thursday. Now, you're hoping that the Celtics really have nothing to play for. So maybe Mazzulla would just bag it and, not even try to win and give the Knicks a much-needed victory. Then they play the Nets, who are eliminated on Friday, and then they finish up with the Bulls on Sunday. So much could happen to the Knicks.
Bulls.
They could finish 2nd or they could finish 8th. That's all still in play.
And it's really, they have a really good setup, though, Michael, to make a play for 2nd. I mean, they really, really do.
Well, they got to beat the Bulls in 2 games, and they got slapped around by the Bulls last week.
Yeah, okay, but there's no reason you shouldn't at least, at worst, you should split with the Bulls. I don't care. You should beat the Celtics, who have no interest. I mean, I'm sorry. The Celtics should start. These are professionals, but they're not going to go that hard, Don. They just can't.
No, they can't. So there's going to be load management for sure for some of these teams. But explain to me the schedule, honestly.
What, with the Bulls? Like, why they're playing this many times last week?
Listen, that'd be great if going into the season you felt like the Bulls and Knicks were on the same level and might be battling for something. How great would that be if the Knicks played the Cavs 3 times in, like, the last 6 games?
So it's almost a playoff series.
But going into the season, I mean, I don't think anybody had any expectation for the Bulls, and the Knicks played in the 2nd round last year. So why would you have 3 games in this close proximity? This is a road trip for the Knicks in which they played 2 games in Chicago. Make sense of this, Michael. Shouldn't you be playing? You should be loaded up in your division, but don't you put it together and say let's have the Knicks play teams that are comparable to them late in the season instead of wedging. This isn't the Michael Jordan Bulls.
Yeah,
this isn't Knicks Bulls from the early 90s.
I don't even view it that way because I don't know that they view scheduling exactly that way. But it's just a bad job. You just shouldn't be playing this many times down the final stretch.
Do you think, I mean, again, I'm not sure. Do you think it has something to do with the in-season tournament? Remember, they played Milwaukee so many times because of that.
True. I wonder.
But I don't know why that would...
Well, they only played so many times, Michael, because they ended up picking up an extra game because of what happened in the in-season tournament. The Bulls were never really involved in that, right?
No.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob's telling me it could be that the Bucks and Pacers played an obscene amount of times early in the season. So it could be that the in-season tournament just threw things off.
At least they're in the same division.
Michael, I don't know if you've seen this movie on social media, but I just saw a video of new World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest at Yankee Stadium meeting Juan Soto. I'm telling you, when I ask him, he may say that today surpasses him winning the title on Sunday.
But you know what? The one thing that Don's going to like?
What's that? Oh, I know. I saw.
Because it shows you he's a real fan.
Oh, no, this ends the conversation about how the kind of guy he is.
Don, he's on the field wearing a number 22 jersey. But he's not insulting your senses. It doesn't say Soto on the top of it.
No.
It says number 22.
And he told me he bought that the second they got him. The second the authentic was available, he ordered the authentic Soto jersey.
And please do not send any kind of vibes out that I ever questioned his Yankee fandom.
Well, no, you didn't. You didn't question that.
I just questioned his love for this show.
Right. But I'm telling you, he loves this show too. I promise.
Sure.
I'm positive 110% sure.
I'm not mad at him. That's all right.
He's a K-Show fan. He is so geeked about doing. He's going to be doing top of the third with you, Michael?
I'm not sure yet.
I believe it's top of the third. He is. I mean, I saw him the night he won the title with his father, and he's still talking to me about the Yankees. I mean, he's one of those. Like, you know those people, Don. These Yankee people are different.
I got to tell you, though, all the respect. Like, he was controlled, though. Like, he was a fan, but he was logical, and he was nice.
No, and he told me afterwards, I didn't do good with you guys. I said, you were great.
Well, you tell him, first of all, it's well, and tell him he did a phenomenal job.
What did I say? You said, well.
Didn't do good. I was about to say it, and I said, Michael, don't be that guy. But I love when Don is that guy.
I wasn't being literal anyway.
I'm not going to jump on Michael. That feels pretty good to do.
You liked it.
I liked it a lot.
But no,
you know what? I think I liked it more that you did it.
He's freaking out though. He's getting the full batting practice day. So is this, Michael, what they do when someone gets this treatment? They get to come in early, walk the whole grounds, meet all the players.
He took batting practice?
I don't know if he took.
Oh, they got to let him take.
But by the way, I know he likes to play. I know he likes to play. I know that he carries around. He travels with a baseball glove when he's traveling.
Well, that's a little odd.
A little odd.
He thinks a baseball game is going to break out?
No, well, he said him and some of the boys who love baseball like to go throw around.
No, I got to believe, seriously, that there's got to be a lot of downtime for them when they're on the road.
Oh, especially when you have to get to the building at noon and you don't work till 8 o'clock.
Yeah, so I wouldn't doubt, Michael.
Go out in the parking lot, chucking around.
I'm sure they got like a soccer ball. If there's an arena, some of these arenas have a rim. You got to do something. You just can't stare in the mirror and prepare for your match all day.
By the way, did you see the post that I put up today of Natalie's pictures?
Yes.
Oh, man. And then she just posted hers, too. Go follow my wife, at Miss Hatton. Her stuff from WrestleMania. She's done a lot of great stuff. She blew me away with what she did this weekend. This was the first time she had actual photo credentials at WrestleMania.
Okay.
So she was on the risers. Actually, just the stuff she posted is, I mean, the final boss may end up hanging one of these in his home. That's what I'm saying.
It's that good.
Oh, seriously. The woman blows my mind.
All right, now just finishing up on the Knicks. If they go 4-0 in the last 4 games, first of all, they have 50 wins. I'm getting this from Steph Bondi's story in the Post. And that would be their first 50-win season in 11 years. They'd get the second seed if the Bucks go 2-2 or worse, and the Magic go 3-1 or worse. So 4-0, a lot of stuff gets done, and they can't drop into the play-in. Now, if they get the second seed, that might not be great either, guys, because that means that they could have a first-round showdown against the Heat or the Sixers. And the Sixers are a different team now that Joel Embiid's come back. They've won 5 in a row. So that's not an easy – it's almost like what the Knicks did under Van Gundy when they finished 8th after all the injuries. Nobody wanted to play them. One didn't want to play 8 because that wasn't an 8th seed. And that would be the case here. So if they finish second, they could face Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler or – obviously Joel Embiid. So that's what the Knicks have on their plate. And finally, we congratulate the Yukon Huskies and Danny Hurley, a friend of the show. They have won 2 in a row. Last year, they won by an average point differential of 20 per game, which is unbelievable. This year, they bettered it 23. They won every single game by double digits. In the second half, they were like poised to run away from Purdue. So for the entire tournament, they were plus 140 in point differential. And the thing that I look at and say, wow, it's so impressive that they won back-to-back. And it's the first team to do it since the Florida Gators, Billy Donovan's Florida Gators. Because the Florida Gators under Billy Donovan, their starting 5 was the same in both years. With UConn, 5 of the 8 players from last year, the top 8 players that got the most time, they're gone. He reconfigured the team. He took bench players that didn't have as much of a role, like Klingon last year. This year he's playing, Edey and trying to stop him, and they still were never threatened. If you look at it, the 2 titles and the 12 games, probably the team that gave him the hardest time might have been Iona under Rick Pitino. Just amazing. It's an amazing team. You can see they build an unbelievable culture. And the guy's doing it, and his son's on the team. He had a great line yesterday. Put his son in with like 45 seconds left in the game. He put the whole bench in. And then when he was interviewed by Ernie Johnson on the podium, Ernie did ask the kid a question, and Danny said he's going to go in the transfer portal. He doesn't think I gave him enough time. But they're a fun team to watch. Now it's going to be interesting. Who exactly does Kentucky go after with Calipari going to Arkansas? Do they make a run at this guy? A lot of people think it's going to be Scott Drew, the coach at Baylor, who's close with the Kentucky AD. But if you're the Kentucky AD, do you at least have to make a run at Danny Hurley?
Yeah, you got to ask. You got to put it in the ask. He's the best coach in the nation, right?
You would think. Although
you need a coach. Let him tell you no.
Do you think they investigate with Patino? You know, I was reading a story today. St. John's is going to be his last job. I recall on our show last year, Rick also said Iona is the last place he's ever going to coach. So just because he said St. John's is the last place he's ever going to coach, if Kentucky came calling where he was a god and the parting was very nice because he took a great job offered by the Celtics, if they can't get Drew and Danny has no interest in going to Kentucky, would you at least place a call to Rick Pitino?
Well, why wouldn't you? Well, based on something he said that at least was inconsistent? And yeah, you put the call in, have him say no to you.
Oh, would that put a lot? Because Rick Pitino loves living in New York.
Mm-hmm.
But would that be like a pull? I mean, does he have a better chance of winning a national title with Kentucky or with St. John's?
Oh, with Kentucky.
Yeah.
Here's what the cut sounded like on our program when Rick talked about the possibility of coaching elsewhere.
The last game I'll coach will be at Iona College.
Now, maybe he was telling the truth. Maybe that's the last game he's ever going to coach. Maybe St. John's schedules them at the last game he ever coaches.
Oh, you know what?
Just to tell the truth, just to stick it to us.
The last game I'll coach will be at Iona College.
Yeah, see, semantics, they're important. Now, really quick, Miss Hatton, Peter did not mention, one of her gorgeous pictures was a nice profile of Pat McAfee.
Mm-hmm.
And Pat, you tweeted it out, and Pat said, "This is dope. Thank you, Mrs. Peter."
That's right.
He said
nice.
Mrs. Peter?
Yeah, Mrs. Peter.
You think that's a shot of...
No, it's an odd thing to call a woman, but...
or a woman.
Sports TV ratings on X say their sources say that TBS got a $14.8 million people viewing for the UConn game. That's across TBS, TNT, and True TV. And then Iowa, South Carolina, 18.9. UConn's a pretty sexy story, but I don't think there's a bigger player in college basketball than Caitlin Clark.
Well, it's when you're talking about
there's
those
not
numbers,
even close.
You're talking about something transcending. And listen, would the numbers have been better last night if it was on CBS? Would the
right,
numbers
and the
have
women's
been
game was on ABC.
Right, and you know what? But would the women's final number have been better if it had been at 8 o'clock instead of 3? You could make that case too, because 3 o'clock, that seems convenient, but it's still a Sunday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's a great point.
It's not exactly prime time. So, listen, people are invested in this. College basketball in general is big, but right now the story is Caitlin Clark.
It's a thing. It's a happening. Like we have no idea how this is going to play out. And maybe she ends up being, for lack of a better word, and I know it's totally different, but in terms of how big the story is, maybe it ends up being Linsanity, right? And it fades, even though obviously she's been way more consistent and she's on a whole different level. But for lack of a better comparison. Or maybe this is the beginning of when we first heard about Tiger Woods in 1996, 97.
Well, I don't think she's going to fade, Peter. I'm just wondering if the NCAA women's game fades.
Well, it won't just be for me. It's a two-part thing. It's what will happen with the NCAA women's game, but what will happen with the WNBA. That's on the table. I think
she's got enough game, don't you?
Me too. But will it remain a story? Will she be so good and so transcendent that she all of a sudden, because I was told that Barclays Center for the Liberty's already sold out next year. Will it become one of those deals where wherever Indiana plays, she sells out because she's that player?
Well, you see it. Will it be Tiger Woods or will it be Michael Phelps? Like I don't know. Like, is she just so big that it wasn't even really about the basketball? Because I heard Bart and Hahn talking about, and you've even brought it up, Michael, too, that the quality of the game, it's not just all. They play defense. There's a lot. It's a prettier game. I think aesthetically pleasing to the eye.
It really is.
Than the men's game right now. But is it that, Are we getting too sportsy, or is that she just became kind of like what Michael Phelps came for swimming in the Olympics? And is it going to fade just because now it's not a thing anymore?
But you know what, Don? It's the chicken and the egg conundrum. I think people were drawn to the games because of her, and then they realized that the women in college sport, maybe in the WNBA, are playing the game that we fell in love with in the NBA that doesn't exist anymore. I think that's what happened. She's a compelling figure. Yeah. She's breaking records. She's very well spoken. She's taken every commercial that she can get. Good for her. But then you watch and you see the court vision she has and the amazing passes that she makes. And it's not just her. Everybody in the game is like that. So I hope that it's a turning point for women's sports, where it does translate to the WNBA, and that women's college basketball continues to be something that people want to watch. It's good. It's good for sports. It really is. You know what else is? Well, I don't know if it's good. That's debatable. But anything you like in sports now, you could bet on. And Peter, I know you could bet on sports with FanDuel, right?
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Playing in Yankee Stadium is the best thing that could ever happen to a ball player.
It's a huge honor to put this uniform on.
World champions, team of the decade.
There it goes! The Yankees are back on top.
This is the Yankees being the Yankees.
Listen up, Nets World. Get into the action and lock in a 2024-25 Nets level membership. Members have it all, from exclusive events and behind-the-scenes access to discounts across merch and tickets. Not to mention the ticket flexibility in the first place, with round-the-clock management and seamless transfer to your squad. This is Brooklyn, and it's yours. Become a member today.
New season, new reasons to say yes.
This is star power.
Wow.
Dials it up. What a home run for Soto. Aaron Judge crushes one.
Get all the Yankees action. The Yes app.
My dad, he's a double amputee, and he's one of my favorite people in the world. To me, a hero is someone who fights for our country and freedom. My dad is a hero. Homes for Our Troops built this house, and it's basically made for him. My dad can get through the wide doorways. When he is making our lunch, he can reach anything we need. He'll help me build tiny projects. Life is good here. Without Homes for Our Troops, we'd be living in a home that didn't have all these features that helped him.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post-9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives.
If they get a new house like this one, it'll help them do normal life. My dad's not just a hero, he's my hero.
Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
FanDuel Casino has your chance at the #1 feeling, winning, which ranks even higher than the 18th best feeling, saving a kid from a well. 59 years later. Find the #1 feeling winning on FanDuel Casino Reward Machine. Free to play every day with a chance at a $2,000 top prize.
Stay ahead of your child's moderate to severe eczema. And they can show off clearer skin and less itch with Dupixent, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists and allergists that helps heal your child's skin from within. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems, such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Ask your child's eczema specialist about Dupixent.
When I hit 80, I needed help around the home. A friend of mine told me to call Freedom Care, and they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay, and how fast you can get started.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
Hello, I'm Dennis Quaid. For years, Tunnel to Towers has demonstrated a commitment to first responders and military families. They've paid off mortgages and built specially adapted smart homes. Now the foundation is expanding its mission to eradicate veteran homelessness. Please give our veterans a chance to reclaim their dignity by donating at t2t.org.
The Michael Kay Show on Yes is presented by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
Expected to make a full recovery, be available for 2024 camp.
Yeah, they're playing out the string, so might as well get it now rather than mess around. Good player, but he's been a bit injury prone, Michael. Shoulder's been a problem for him. So hopefully he gets healthy because he's a really, really, really good player.
1-800-919-3776. Remember, tomorrow is a Would You Wednesday, so that's always highly anticipated.
That's nice. We did a decent job last week without you.
I think you've done it 2 weeks in a row because
I don't
of games.
like it. It's not my preference.
But who asked the questions?
We got them from the audience.
Oh, were they good?
No.
Were the answers good?
No, I thought we didn't. Was it last week or the week before that they did a pretty decent job?
Well, send them now. I mean, we'll take some of your questions as well. I'll come up with some devious ones, but...
You always do.
3:45, that's the time. Let's go to Dove at the stadium. Dove.
Oh, hey, Dove. Is this Dove from Passaic who just happens to be at the stadium?
Right.
All right.
Yes, that's me, Dove from Passaic, and I'm so excited. It's my first game of the year, and I'm really happy the Yankees are 9-2, and I think the Yankees are showing a great defense put together, and I think that their pitching is going to hold together, and maybe this will be the year. I'm just, I'm buying what they're selling.
I love it. Somebody, a satisfied customer. Isn't that nice? I love it. Thank you for the phone call, Dove. I'm having trouble right now with my call screener because I could not call up I'm going to try it again.
Well, Peter can handle it.
I got you. What do you want?
But I don't trust Peter to do it.
Just tell me what you want. You want some...
Yeah, but now I must have lost everything. I don't even have the calls anymore.
Well, while you're trying to figure it out, Anthony DiComo tweeted out that J.D. Martinez is now dealing with a lower back issue.
Oh, no.
Some tightness. He's going to be sidelined for the next 3 to 5 days.
Oh, boy, was that
so that's
tough.
another week without. I'm going to tell you, it's not gone well.
For old DJ?
No, for these guys that all waited late. Because did you see Snell last night in San Francisco? Not good.
Well, who was the big-headed freak that predicted this?
You were, and did you hear the glee Michael, you sounded like you celebrated.
No, I'm not celebrating anybody's injury. I'm celebrating being right because, as Don knows, I love being right.
I could sense that. Listen, that was not a Yankee boy thing. That was a Michael boy thing.
Oh, that was him celebrating
himself.
himself.
He wanted to be right. Yeah.
Why can't people just believe me when I say things?
Never forget this.
All right,
Number
I've
10,
got control of the screen again.
I was trying to.
You were trying to make a point, Peter?
Yeah, here you go. Listen, everyone be quiet on the set.
Number 10, DJ Martinez.
I think it's JD.
Sorry, I got a little dyslexic there.
Wow.
A moment in time.
And who hit the home run yesterday for the Mets, Don?
It was a DJ, not a JD.
JD.
We're getting over it, Michael. We fought through it. It happened. It was
you know, because I left for the game because it started at 6. By the way, 2 hour and 1 minute game.
Yeah, that was the fastest since '92.
Oh, unbelievable!
A game you might have called, Michael.
Yeah, I definitely called it. I called every game on the radio then. Peter, how big was the distance between Don's drop and our good friend Griff?
How long was the distance?
How big was? I mean, how
big was the gap? Oh, I mean, it was. Let me think of a good description, a good comp here. It wasn't. It was. Let me put it this way: if it had been an earlier round, at halftime, you're not going back to the game. We're out of here.
And I want to throw this out. Larry and Gordon do a great job.
Oh, Lacko.
At night.
Lagor, I think.
A Goat Madness tournament. And we're to the Elite Eight. And voting, you could still do. You got 4 hours left to vote. The 1 seed, Tony Soprano, going up against Michael Jordan. Jordan's up big, 66.9%.
Oh, that's a tough day for Soprano.
Tom Brady, the 1 seed, versus Frank Sinatra, the 15 seed. Tom Brady's up 54.2%.
Sinatra's a 15th seed? Wow.
4 seed, Tiger Woods versus the 2 seed, Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali's up 64.3%. And Don LaGreca, the 6 seed, versus Wayne Gretzky, the 1.
Well, that's a lot of irony.
And Don LaGreca's up 55.9. I've got a chance at the Final Four of GOAT
Now,
Madness.
Don, let's be honest here. Are you embarrassed that you're leading Wayne Gretzky?
You should be.
You should recuse yourself.
I say this with all due respect, and I'm only because I'm talking about Wayne Gretzky.
Right.
There's nothing about anything that you do that resembles Wayne Gretzky. And that's true of all of us.
Or Tiger Woods or Muhammad Ali or Tom Brady or any of that. Listen, I should not be in this tournament.
But Gretzky's different.
However, I am in the tournament, and people seem to enjoy my work.
But the fact that you revere hockey.
He should bow out, Michael.
You should bow out because what you're doing is you're making a mockery of hockey.
But again, nobody's saying Don LaGreca.
We call it a mockery.
We're talking about my rants. And what's more relevant in this day and age, my rants or Wayne Gretzky, who has not had a point since 1999?
So cocky.
How about that?
So cocky.
It's not cocky.
That is unreal. Now,
he just said, Peter, let that sink in. Yeah. My rants are Wayne Gretzky. That's what he said.
And he said he's more relevant than Gretzky.
At this radio station?
Now, how about this, Michael?
Why can't, listen, I got nothing, all right? Well, listen, it's not nothing because it's a paycheck every 2 weeks. That's all I got. I mean, really, when the dust settles, from a document standpoint, I didn't work here.
What does that
Peter,
mean?
the same thing. They're going to look through it. I was like, all right, there was a show. Guy, Michael K. There was a Bart guy and a Han guy.
Yeah, we don't know what else
happened. There was a Larry and a Gordon. There was a Dan Grassa.
We were nothing. We didn't even exist.
There was a DiPietro and Rothenberg. I guess those were the people that worked here.
Yeah, at least, you know what, Don's a good point. He's won me over to his side. Now, Anthony just informed me that I was in the GOAT tournament as well.
Oh, really?
Do you know that now this is, according to Anthony, my Better Help reads were a 16 seed in the GOAT tournament.
That's a GOAT read. That's
GOAT,
not
nothing, man.
Greatest of all time read.
But did he win that matchup?
He did not.
Who beat me?
I'll have to go back and look at the bracket.
That's got to be a tough matchup for me.
Now, I'm going to tell you another thing, Peter. It's going to hurt your feelings because you know I'm a big fan of your Better Help reads.
All right.
But Adam Schefter does some real dandy Better Help reads.
He does.
He can't hold people.
I don't know.
Can't do it.
I love the Scheft, but is he beating me in the Better Help? Come on, Michael.
Listen, I shouldn't say this, but what the hell? He read it like he had no idea what he was reading.
Oh, that's not true.
Peter's reading it because he cares.
That's not true. Have you heard him read it, or are you just making it up?
I hear it all the time. As a matter of fact, I think it's disrespectful that it airs on our show.
during my time slot.
Yes. Put in promo code Freddie. Well, why Freddie Coleman? Was he here? Do I see him?
Don's trying to bring about the end of this radio station quicker than he predicts.
Peter, this doesn't help Don's Gretzky versus Don thing.
All right.
You lost to Jay-Z, and I think you'll take that.
Yeah, I will. But
the competition wasn't Peter Rosenberg, period. It was Peter Rosenberg's better help reads.
And although I might argue that my better help reads I could argue, are better to reads.
Yes, it's one
than Jay-Z is to music.
And
boy, you two are so cocky.
I know. I mean, listen, I could argue.
And the other thing too, I'm going to say this because I'm on a roll. The most overrated thing, people will go, oh, nobody reads, nobody does a live read like Max Kellerman. Nobody. Oh, Howard Stern, nobody does a live. If you're given 20 minutes to do a read, anybody can sound like God. He's sounding like God in the time frame.
Thank you.
Like, he can go on for 5 minutes and go, oh, well, it was one heck of a read, and the sponsor goes nuts. He keeps it to the 30 or the 60 seconds that's allotted.
I try.
That makes it a gift.
Thank you. I really, really
and it's
appreciate it.
Acknowledged.
Let's go to the guy who lost to Don yesterday, Griffin in Connecticut.
Oh, boy.
Griffin.
Hi, Griff.
I was looking at the GOAT madness. To get to the Elite Eight, he had to beat Michael Jackson.
That's true. I beat Madonna, Wait, who did I beat?
Oh, point God for our guy Griffin.
All right, my first matchup was Madonna. Then I beat Joey Chestnut.
Well, that you should.
And I beat Michael Jackson, and now I'm beating Wayne Gretzky, and then I don't know who I'm going to face at that point.
Let that sink in, Peter. He beat Michael Jackson.
Again, relevancy.
No.
Right, I mean, I could have a rant at any second.
No, that's not.
Unfortunately, we lost Michael way too young at age.
I know, but his catalog is still relevant.
No,
I don't.
Right,
have you ever sat in a cab? I mean, you will hear Billie Jean every 3 days.
Right, but at any moment,
the rant could happen.
The rant could happen. Because it was Don LaGreca's rants, by the way.
Yes, get to your point, Griffey.
Yeah, I'm sure it's great.
I've been hearing a lot over this weekend and a lot for a while. I don't understand. I understand he's off to a great start, Anthony Volpe, but a lot of the fans are craving that they need to put him in the leadoff spot right now, and I just feel like why put something on him right? I feel like he's perfect where he's at right now. I feel like everything is going well with the lineup. Why change things in the lineup unless it's not working? Last year, Boone changed a lot in the lineup because things were not working. This year, things are working. So right now, with things working, I don't think we should change much in the lineup. I want to know what you think, Michael.
Griffin, I right now sit here and say I could not agree with you more.
Wow.
I laugh.
I told
people, you got to move Volpe to lead off. They're 9-2. Why would you make any changes? And when DJ LeMahieu comes back, he's going to hit leadoff. And the fact that he's doing damage with his 400-plus batting average, and he scored 10 runs, let him stay in the middle of the lineup where he can actually drive in more runs. Why would you make a change that you don't need to make? I think he could handle it. But if he's hitting .417 and leading the American League in hitting, why would you ever change? It makes no sense. People are out of their mind, Griff. Not you. Not you, Griffey.
That's it. That was a great point. But people got a mess. Why they got a mess?
They always like the mess. People like the mess.
Got to get the fat hands.
So what would be bigger, Peter? Don beating Michael Jackson, which has already happened, or beating Wayne Gretzky? Because Wayne Gretzky's the greatest hockey player ever lived. You can't say Michael Jackson was the greatest entertainer. He's in the top 10.
Well, you can say it, but it's always going to be subjective.
Right.
Whereas Gretzky, there's no subjectivity.
Right.
He is the greatest with a bullet, and it's Don's sport. So that's probably the crazier one. But I think Michael Jackson sounds funnier because he's like the standard of talent. So just being like, well, Don's going to blow right past Michael Jackson. I mean, the guy at 9 years old was all of America was sitting there going, oh my, we've never seen a child like this. He's a prodigy. And Don's just blowing right by him.
And you know what makes me feel the most uncomfortable, Peter?
What's that?
Don's comfortable.
Yeah, he loves it.
He's comfortable with beating Jackson, and he's comfortable with actually beating Gretzky, rather than bowing out and say, out of respect to the sport I love, I should not be against him.
I have an update here, by the way.
What's
Apparently, I'm told Jay-Z barely eked out a victory over my BetterHelp reads.
3%.
By 3%, I lost to Jay-Z.
Well, as Graphic Joker tweeted, I got 99 problems, but BetterHelp ain't one.
Wow.
Wow. You know what, Graphic Joker? I don't know if that's good or terrible.
Well, I talk for a living, guys, and whether I'm in the studio...
Growing up, I always wanted to do so many things.
I wanted to be a vet.
I wanted to be an actor.
When I was really little, I don't know why, but I wanted to be a pastor. When I was like a small child.
I wanted to be a celebrity by any means necessary.
This is Spike Drop Vegas Heist.
These players are playing for a lot of money today.
I'm only here for 2 feet. I don't really care about any other place.
Can't even comprehend what is going on, but I like it.
Hey, so I found a betting system that's really working great for me.
So did I. What's yours?
I set up an hour-a-week time limit on FanDuel. I can also set up wager limits, so I only bet what I can afford, and betting stays fun.
Right.
So what's your system?
What's that?
Your system. What's your system? What is that?
Every bettor has a system. Make FanDuel's responsible gaming tools a key part of yours. Now, well-qualified buyers can get 1.9% APR financing on 2024 Acura models. New season, new reasons to say yes.
Wow! Aaron Judge crushes one. Get all the Yankees action on the Yes app. Download now.
It's going to feel like home. It's going to be electric.
This is the Yankees flexing their muscles.
He has the right demeanor.
The expectation to win a championship.
This is the Yankees being the Yankees.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. Innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions. Telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready? Explore teaching at teach.org.
The Michael K. Show on Yes is brought to you in part by Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer today.
Is it possible to be more capable and more practical? Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
Been there, done that, messed around. I'm having fun. Don't put me down. I'll never let you.
With Allegra, allergies won't hold me back. Allegra starts working 2 times faster than Claritin, and unlike Zyrtec, won't make me drowsy. Nothing beats Allegra. It's the fastest, non-drowsy, 24-hour allergy relief.
We all want to feel safe when traveling. That's why if you see something that feels suspicious, such as an abandoned bag or erratic behavior from a passenger, just call 911. You can call anonymously, and it's okay if it turns out to be nothing. Work together with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey to keep our transportation facilities safe. Visit PANYNJ.gov to learn more.
It's go time in Brooklyn, and we got Grit.
Mikal Bridges has got a highlight.
We got Gay.
On the clutch attack.
We got goals.
Schroeder, does he have the hot hand? Yes, sir.
We got Raptors versus Nets. Tomorrow at 7 on Yes and the Yes app.
Chris Sheeran back here for the Michael K. Show. Anthony Volpe continuing his hot start to the season is brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. First, let's feature a little of his defense. In the top of the second, Tim Anderson hits a hard liner up the middle, but Volpe is there for the stab to retire Anderson. Then in the third, Emmanuel Rivera gives him a try, hits one in the hole. Volpe makes a sliding backhand grab, gets to his feet, and then fires a strike to Anthony Rizzo to get Rivera. He won a Gold Glove in his rookie year. Looks like he could be positioning himself for another. Then in the fourth, he takes the 7-iron out and deposits his second home run of the year over the wall and left. Yankees take a 3-0 lead, and they win it 7-zip. Through his first 11 games of the season, he has the highest OPS on the team, and let's not forget, that's with Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, and Giancarlo Stanton also in this lineup. Oh, and he also has the highest on-base percentage as well. He's just under 500. Volpe looks to stay hot to start the season tonight when the Yankees and Marlins play the middle game of their 3-game set at the stadium. Our coverage begins with the batting practice show at 6, followed by the pregame show at 6:30. It's the Yankees and Marlins. Coverage starting at 6, immediately after the Michael K. Show, right here on Yes, and streaming, of course, on the Yes app.
It's funny, the Angels are only 3 years younger than the Dodgers in L.A. 3 years they can look at the difference in popularity. Oh, yeah? I got 3 quick questions, one for each of you. Peter, I'll do you first.
Okay.
Patino, Hurley, and who's the third? Jay Wright. Do you put those 3, or would you take the field 50-50 bet for the next Kentucky coach?
Patino, Hurley, Jay Wright.
Jay Wright. Or somebody, not those 3.
I think Patino's very unlikely. I kind of can't see it with Jay Wright either. I think I take the field.
Okay, gotcha.
I agree.
Don, this is for you.
Yes.
The Rangers have the most points in the NHL.
Yes.
They have the most wins in the NHL. Yet, they are 7th in goal scoring. 6 teams have more goals than them. And they're 6th in goals against. 5 teams have less goals than them. How do you explain that?
That's a good question. How do you explain... Yeah, they're second in the league in comebacks. I think that's probably the stat that I'd throw back at you. Only Colorado's had more come from behind victories.
All right, Michael, this is for you, and you're going to battle me with this, but we'll go. Yesterday's an extreme. Yanks are winning 7-0. Let's say the relief pitcher came in the ninth, gave up 7 runs. The game is tied. They go to the bottom of the ninth. The Yanks win it. 1, Cortez doesn't get the win. 2, the relief pitcher who gave up 7 runs in the top of the ninth gets the win. Now, it doesn't have to be a 7-0 game. It could have been a 1-0 game or a 4-0 game. Still applies. Shouldn't we leave this up to the discretion of the scorer, the official scorer, to give the win to Cortez if the Yankees win it in the bottom of the ninth?
Well, you're
have to get rid of the way the
you're
rule
making
is now.
sense, but I don't have a problem with that because it goes back to forever. And I kind of like that. You know, if you really want to get the win, then get the last 3 outs as well and keep your pitch count down. And Cortez pitched beautifully. And also, the guy who gave up 7 runs wouldn't be in there at the end of the 7 runs anyway. But you're saying even if it's 1-0, if Cortez doesn't pitch the ninth and then Clay Holmes comes in and gives it up, and then the Yankees score on the bottom, why should he get the win? Because it has always been like that. I have a problem with the sport now keeping it at 5 innings because they don't allow pitchers to go that far. So it should be changed. One thing, though, if I'm Kentucky, one of the things that I would do is here's a blank check, Jay. Tell me what you want. Now, he said he doesn't want any part of coaching, and he got out when the getting was good because the NIL stuff, it's brutal. Brutal. That's why he got out of Villanova. But the bottom line is I'd give him a blank check because he's that good. He's that good. But I don't think it's going to happen. Let's go to Jack in Woodbridge. Jack.
Hey, guys. How we doing? Hope all is well.
Yes.
Always tough to follow Big Dick, but I'll do my best.
It's very, very tough.
Very difficult thing to follow.
So, Michael, Peter, Dom, any thoughts on the new uniforms this year in baseball? I know Fanatics was kind of getting crushed on the quality of them.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you noticed, like with the Yankees, especially the road uniforms, a guy like Rodon, by the third inning, it's like he's covered in sweat. He's sweating through the thing on the field, and it looks terrible and really unpleasant to look at. So, Michael, have you heard any feedback on the uniforms this year?
Well, they're very thin, and you're being kind, Jack. He sweats through it by the first pitch, just by warming up. But I think the Yankee uniform is the least affected, other than the fact that it's thin, because it doesn't show up on the pinstripe, the sweat. It does show up on the gray uniform, but they don't have those tiny little names on the back. That's what I don't get.
Yeah, the tiny names really bother me, but the sweat thing, they said that they're going to try to look into and see if they can't correct it.
But they want it more breathable, so it's thin probably. That's why you see the sweat. But
it's just my mess.
Hey, we have to say goodbye to Yes, unfortunately.
Well, I won't say goodbye.
We are going to say goodbye. If you want to hear ENN, you've got to turn to the radio or go to the app.
That's a wrap on the show for today. Coming up next, our coverage of the Yankees and Marlins gets underway with Yankees batting practice today. For all of us here on the Michael K. Show, this is Chris Sheeran saying have a great night. Enjoy the game. We will see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. K Show on Yes is presented by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
What's the score of the game?
The score is 6-3.
It's your journey. Own every mile in the new Hyundai Elantra with America's best warranty. Lease a Hyundai Elantra for only $179 a month or get 3.89% APR or up to $1,000 bonus cash. Hurry, offers end soon.
Isn't it absolutely bonkers that you can walk into a store, hand someone a piece of plastic, and they will willingly hand over Reese's cups? Forget flying cars. This is it. We're at the pinnacle. And meet Reese's distant but delicious cousins.
Life is hard, but you guys have to work harder. Okay? No, I do not do it. My name is O'Neal Trinidad, and I want to live.
It's one fantastic ride. The turbocharged, tech-inspired Kia Forte.
Best 2 out of 3?
Lease the new 2024 Forte LXS for $189 a month.
Taste is not an option. Taste is everything. 1800, the world's most awarded tequila.
For years, one company has battled to deliver business products the next day with no freight charges. Now, WB Mason, with their famous fleet of trucks and drivers, faces their biggest challenge, rescuing shipping and packaging buyers from expensive freight charges. That's right. Now, boxes, stretch film, and packaging tape are delivered the very next day at amazingly low prices. So, who do you call for fast delivery?